Welcome everyone to second episode of Rootless podcast. In this podcast, we talk about stories from Afghanistan that you have never heard. And if you're here, we are glad. In this episode, we're going to talk about the time from Taliban takeover till the time we got to the countries that we are living right now. I live in Germany, Ehsan lives in Canada, and I hope you guys enjoy the stories from the time that I spent in Afghanistan under the government of Taliban. We apologize again for our up English, but I hope it's all right by you. And the time that Ehsan spent in Pakistan after the Taliban came to the power or took over the government. Do you want to say anything?
Let's get to it.
Nah. Okay. You guys know this story. If you have heard the first episode of this podcast, you guys know this story about when Taliban got the government. But the interesting part is that after the Taliban came and I was deported multiple times, and the first time that I deported, I tried to leave the country, obviously, but I got deported back to Afghanistan because I was not allowed to enter Iran. And the second time that I got back to Afghanistan, it was a very traumatic experience because when I was in the airport and they told me that you're not allowed to enter Iran, it was the worst feeling ever. Like, I don't know how to express it. Like, you are not allowed to come to our country. It's like when you don't allow a dirty dog in your house. I felt like that. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know. But for me, it felt like that. And I called my family and told them that I'm not allowed to come to Iran and I will be deported back to Afghanistan. And they were all worried about me. And I felt very bad because I was causing them to feel worried. But when I came back to Afghanistan, obviously, I had no place to live. Sometimes I was living with my sister. Sometimes I was living with my grandma. None of them had a great living situation. And me being another person on their, what's the word for dastarkhan? I don't think we have dastarkhan in English, which is
tablecloth, kind of.
like dining table.
Yeah.
You know, I was an extra person, extra mouth to feed. That's a better term here, right? I took out my laptop, tried to email every organization that I knew that probably they could help me, which I talked about it last time. Yeah, and I was trying to pass the time, but it is hard to pass the time when you are not allowed or... Obviously, you're allowed to go outside, but it has its own risks, right? I don't like wearing perantumban. If you don't know perantumban is, you need to search what should they search it on Google?
Just simply that's
Afghan traditional clothes.
That's the cloth that the Taliban wears most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Because for me, that's a symbol of giving up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I give up. I obey your rules. Fun fact, the whole time that I was in Afghanistan in Taliban era, I never wore Afghan traditional clothes except one time that I tried to pass the border from Afghanistan to Pakistan. The only time. Yeah, and the emails that I sent, most of them were like, okay, we're gonna get back to you in a few weeks or a few months. And it's very hard. You're like a sitting duck if it suits the situation. But I was like just sitting in a room, having nothing to do. Electricity, shit in Afghanistan. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, even when Taliban was there, no electricity. I think you guys had solar panels, right?
Yeah.
In this podcast, we are talking about these normal things that probably you wouldn't know. You know?
We had like a small solar panel that used to charge our battery.
Yeah.
That then we had like a transformer, kind of. Was it the name for that?
Converter
or something like that.
Yeah, I used to have that as well because me and Ehsan and few other people in Afghanistan used to make videos for YouTube, not just for my YouTube channel or Ehsan's YouTube channel, but for another companies or people, whatever. And my apartment, it was very cool place. I believe so. If Ehsan, I don't know if Ehsan agrees. Well, I think it was a very, in German they say gemütlich. In English, cozy. It was a very cozy place. I
It
feel
was a
so.
nice place, but there were like lots of rules and restrictions that didn't make us feel welcome.
My apartment had, our whole building had solar panels, big solar panels. So during the daytime when it was sunny, we had electricity and we didn't need electricity from government. But as a backup, I had also a few batteries, not lithium batteries, car batteries. I used to charge them through those converters that you said. I used to charge them through that. And that was made by Afghan engineers. It was a proud invention, or maybe copy of an invention. I don't know. Okay, to not get so far from this story, yeah, no electricity, and I was broke. I didn't have any money, and it was even hard to have an internet bundle to be connected to the world. At least my phone was a window to the world outside, but no electricity, no internet, no money, none of that. But I tried to do a few things, and I tried to use my time. And back of my head, I was thinking like, maybe if there is a small chance that in future I get out of this country, and if there is that possibility, maybe I should start doing something. You know, maybe I should use my time while I'm here, not to waste it. So I was talking to Ehsan. I don't know if you remember or not. I was even walking outside. So brave of me. I told you that I got in contact with a film maker or film producer, if you remember. And I asked you, what do you think about a documentary? What do you think if I make a documentary, and especially if it's about Afghan musicians? Do you remember it or not?
I remember, but I don't remember what did I tell you.
You said, yeah, do it.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that's the most positive energy that I got from you. No, I think we talked about it a lot, and you told me that I should really focus on it and make it a good documentary. I believe so.
In my mind, making a documentary about musicians under the Taliban, it was like a very risky thing. And so I was thinking to myself that if Ali is going to do something like that, then it has to be perfect. It has to be worth it. So that's why I told you to make it perfect, make it as good as you can.
And you asked me about the risks, and I said, we will do it slowly and so under the radar, which it was impossible to do it under the radar because there was, at the time, it was very hard.
How many?
I don't know if you remember.
How many encounters did you have with the Taliban?
I was so lucky. That they stopped me twice.
Like violent shooting?
Once I was in a car. No. That's the lucky part. You know?
Oh, okay.
That they never stopped me while I was carrying a camera, 3 lenses, it was a bag of wireless microphones, and my gimbal. You've seen my gimbal bag. It looks like a sniper bag. While I was with them, no one stopped me, fortunately. But to be honest, I had a backup plan, and my backup plan had another backup plan. You know, it was like, if they stopped us, I will say, okay, I'm a photographer for this company. You know, and I had one extra SD card, memory card, that after shooting the video, I would take out the SD card that had footage on it and hide it somewhere, and just put in another SD card with random photos from this company and that company as an example. Like, here, look, I have these things, you know? Yeah. It was very smart of me, I know. To not get so forward in this story, so after talking to Ehsan and talking to multiple other people who were there, our beloved editor here in the Rootless podcast, he was there the whole time with me, and he has bigger balls than me, I believe. He is so courageous. It was me, him, and I was talking to other musicians. And the problem with making that document, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I talked to my producer. He made a documentary about a rock band in Afghanistan, which is a very good watch. You should watch it if you're interested in music in general, and especially music in Afghanistan. It was a very good documentary. So I could only watch the trailers and a few clips from that, but I knew he would be down for the idea. So I talked to him. I visited him. He came to Afghanistan for another project. He was doing another movie or documentary. He texted me. He said, I'm in Afghanistan. If it's safe for you, you could visit me here at this time and this hour. I said, okay, I'm down. I will come there. I went there. It was me, a few other musicians, that they were all afraid to their bones. We were meeting in a very famous place, Sharon now, which means new city. And we were there. So many rich people live there and have businesses there. So we were there. I was the only one like this. I didn't even care. I have photos from that day, but because other musicians, they are still in Afghanistan, I cannot show it. So we were talking. The translator came to us. He was trying to translate, but when saw me talking in English, he said, okay, can you translate? I said, yeah. He said, good, then
Sure.
you get the responsibility. This guy sucks. He was struggling with a few words, because sometimes as people we do struggle with a few words. So I took over that responsibility, and we talked, and I told, after the gathering, he told me, I wanted to say this. Every other people who were there, they were like this. They didn't want to show their faces. And the funny thing is that here we sit in a small table, me, bunch of other musicians, and there next to us sits a big group of high-profile Taliban. That was funny, because I saw two of them on TV talking about shit, and I was like, holy shit, we are sitting besides them. And it was risky. After 10 minutes, I told, hey, I don't feel good, here. And he felt it. He said, yeah, we should go outside. And we just walked a bit and we talked about a bunch of stuff. But when I got back to my sister's house, I just texted him, hey, you're a filmmaker. I'm a vlogger. To that point, I didn't do a lot of high quality stuff, but I basically know my way around camera and stuff like that. And I just told him, hey, man, I have this idea. Are you down or not? It could help other musicians get out of Afghanistan, because they would be featured in the movie or documentary. Plus, the most important thing about this project would be that people outside Afghanistan would know about the struggles that this group of people are going through. Because nobody cares about, in general, about musicians in Afghanistan. I believe so, because I'm one of them, and it's hard to get the attention of people even inside of Afghanistan. If even Taliban cared about us so much, we would have been extinct by now. But it's like, okay, if I catch you, you're in trouble. But when you're not, out of my sight, out of my mind. For them, it was like that. I believe it was like that. So, yeah, we started shooting the video. I found a bunch of people. I found like maybe close to 100 people, close to 100 musicians, But it was hard for them. They were like, nah, this is too risky for me. I will not do it. I will not do it. I talked to close to 100 musicians, but only a few of them were able to record with us. So I'm so excited to finish the movie. Although I'm outside of Afghanistan, still to this day, the project is ongoing. I want to gather more footage and document more of their life lives or livelihood. I don't know. The only way that I left Afghanistan a bit sooner than I expected it was because I was compromised. Because my own roommates, he sold me out to Taliban because he was selling out every other friend of his, you know. Why? Because when the Taliban took over, he lost his gun. He used to work at internal affairs in a government section. And when he heard that Taliban took over the government, he left his position, gave his gun to a mosque, and just left. But the next day, they asked them to come back to work. We don't care. And when he went back to work, they asked him, "Where is your gun?" He said, I don't know. If you follow the news, you know that the Taliban are so strict about guns, and they want no one to have guns. So instead of letting himself to be tortured because of that, he was doing snitching. I'm doing air quotes, you know, because it's much more worse than snitching. They would ask him like, "Okay, where's the gun?" Okay, I will get the gun, but you know, there is this guy, I could tell you where his house is. He used to do these things. He used to sell drugs. I know this guy who used to make music, you know? And as soon as I realized that, oh my God, this guy knows I'm here, and he knows that I'm doing a documentary because one of our characters mentioned it to him because he thought he was a friend, you know? I texted German government, the people who I was in touch with. I said, "Hey, I'm compromised." And they just told me, "Okay, in a few nights, you will go to Pakistan." Do you have any stories like this?
Yeah.
From the time you were in Pakistan?
Yeah, man. Your stories are like movies.
To be honest, sometimes it was like a movie, you know? There is this misunderstanding that everyone asks or everyone feels like it. Like, okay, now that Taliban got the government, it should be safe, right? Because no one attacks the government, which is totally false. Is that fuck? I'm doing it in German. So, sorry, totally wrong. In here, they say right and wrong is richtig und falsch. Sorry if sometimes I put German words in this podcast.
It's fine. I guess we will learn some German too.
I hope so. So, unfortunately, it was not safe because there was this time. So it was Ramadan month, and I believe there was 4 attacks or 5 attacks just in our neighborhood. We were living in District 18. So one was in front of the school that I used to go, called Abdul Rahim Shaheed, license.
High school diploma.
High school diploma. I got it from there. And the crazy thing is, you know, every day I walked from there. Here is the crazy thing for another people outside of Afghanistan who doesn't know. Some houses doesn't have bathrooms, like to wash your body, you know. There are these public bathrooms that you can go and wash yourself. They pay like 50 cents.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought that most people go to this like public, bathrooms?
Public bathrooms.
So like, because it was like a matter of like hot water mostly, because it was hard to warm.
That and also because some... for example, my sister's house, there used to live around maybe 10 to 15 people. When one person goes there, it takes 3 hours for the boiler to get the water hot enough for the next person, right?
Yeah.
And there's no choice except going to public bathrooms. But there was also some houses that bathrooms were not very good, you know. We would use them when I was a bit younger, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Not 15 years ago, that's too dramatic. We used to use the our house's bathroom just for washing our hair and maybe our hands and feet. But for thorough washing, you had to go to public bathrooms, you know. But obviously, every house has a bathroom. That's That's so crazy to not have that. Yeah, every other day I used to go to bathroom near the place that a suicide attack happened. And it was traumatic. Another happened in another place which is called Sarakares. Another happened in near a educational center, and they all happened, as I said, near to our neighborhood. And the crazy thing is that my place that I used to live then, which was my sister's house, someone, they claim it was ISIS, wanted to attack there with a grenade. The grenade was faulty, I believe that's the word, so it didn't go off. And when I woke up, my sister told me, do not go outside. They found a grenade and they called Taliban to come and defuse it or pick it up before without it being kaboom. It was like a lottery. You didn't know when was your time.
Yeah, I was just thinking that like it's crazy how we're here and not dead yet, kind of. Because like it was kind of 50-50. You didn't know if you're going out, if you're coming back alive, whatever. We were kind of used to it.
Yeah. But now that you see it, has it happened to you, for example, at the New Year's Eve? Did it happen to you that when they were doing like
Fireworks?
Fireworks and firecrackers, did you get any PTSD?
Not here though, but when we first went to Koita, like the first month, they used to do that. And then every time that I heard fireworks, I was like so stressed and like anxious. I thought like it's gunshots and like gunfires, and I hated it. Like till now, I'm trying to like deal with it and like resolve this problem. But that trauma that we had from like those sounds, it's still there.
The first time I was outside of Afghanistan for a long time, it was even before Taliban, you know. I was in Iran for a few months. You remember, right? I went to visit my family in Iran. It was near the New Year. So there is this culture in Iran that they celebrate the last Wednesday of the year. It's called Charshanbe Suri. So they celebrated with a lot of fireworks. So the whole night I was shivering from PTSD, you know, because back in Afghanistan, it's normal, you know. I remember so many times that even when I heard a gunshot or a big boom, when I was with my friends, it didn't happen to me and you when we were hanging out. The first thing, my basic instinct was just grab my friend, put him down and look where the gunshot is from. Back in Afghanistan, that's our instinct, right? But outside of Afghanistan, I'm like, every time I hear a big boom. When something drops from somewhere and make a big sound, I get traumatized. And New Year's in Germany, the same thing. You know, a lot of fireworks. I was in München, as they say, Munich, as probably Americans say it, I don't know. I was there. It was very beautiful, but at the same time, the big PTSD that we had, it was fucked up.
It happened a few times to me while we were walking on the street, and a tire would blow, like a car tire would blow. I would get scared so much.
Or a car would backfire.
Yeah.
Besides gaming and checking out social media in Pakistan, what else did you do?
You said gaming? I remember that meme that the guy is like playing with someone from Afghanistan and there's like gunshots and stuff. And then it goes to game, it's PS. They're playing football, but there's like gunshots coming.
Yeah, when you're playing with your friend in Afghanistan, zoom in the screen, it's PS. Football.
Yeah.
When you were in Pakistan, what was your thought process? Or obviously you're in Canada right now, but what was your mindset like? Did you imagine coming to Canada, or did you expected it, or you were just like me and like frustrated, like what will happen to my life? Will I be here till the rest of my life? Or
So when we first moved, like left Kabul, I was expecting to go to another country from Pakistan very quick because I had some options like Canada, US, Australia. I was like, okay, I won't be in Pakistan for a long time because I hated Pakistan like so much because of all the politics, obviously. I had never been to Pakistan before, but because of the government and politics, I didn't like to be there. So when I went there, I was trying to go through all this immigration applications and stuff. I realized that it's not going to happen. And I was talking to our mutual friend, you know who I mean.
yeah, I know.
And
The way you said it's very sus, but yeah, we have a mutual friend back in Afghanistan.
which we cannot say her name for safety
Yeah.
purposes.
Because of her own security.
Yeah,
She is a lovely lady, but
she is. We were like exploring options and stuff, but then all of them, they would say that it will take time. It's not gonna happen soon. So I was depressed for a few months. I'm still depressed. I'm always depressed.
I was about to say like that takes courage to not admit that you're depressed right now.
Yeah. And then it was, the days were like just passing. Although I didn't do anything, it felt that I felt so tired, kind of, and bored and disappointed. You don't know what's going to happen. And then one of my mom's cousins, they were playing futsal. So I got introduced to their friends and we were playing until I moved to Islamabad. That was one of, I could say, my only hobbies. But then I used to go to a coffee shop so often in the winter. In the summer, it was so hot. I didn't want to go out of or go out of the house. You're laughing because right now I'm in a very cold place.
Exactly.
It just snowed like a couple of days ago here. Yeah, there was a coffee shop that I used to go there like every day, have a black coffee
Yeah.
and watch a movie, or I was working on Watani music stuff at that time. So I would like go there and have a black coffee, second black coffee, and it would go on like that.
As you can see, he drinks only black coffee and I only drink cappuccino.
Yeah, most Afghans, when they think of coffee, I guess cappuccino is their go-to.
I mean, because we are so accustomed to shir chai, right? That's a big thing coming from, I think it comes from Pakistan, I believe so, because that's more their thing, shir chai, which means milk with tea, milk tea. It has a lot of milk in it, and the bitterness of, instead of chai or tea, it has coffee in it. But I believe that Afghans, they don't usually like the raw coffee, just like you. You are an extremist.
Extras.
Okay.
That was that until my immigration case with Canada. Like it got processed a little bit, and I became hopeful. But then again, nothing was for sure. It was like just 10-20% chance of me getting my visa. That in my mind, I had to extend my passport. So I had a trip to Karachi, which is another city in Islamabad. And oh my God, it was
Islamabad.
in Pakistan. In Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for mixing up the cities and stuff.
It's okay.
Yeah, I loved Karachi because it reminded me of Kabul in a way. It was very lively and crowded and polluted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was there for a few days. We went to beach. That was my first and only time I saw the sea.
Let me go blind for you.
It was fun, and it was my first trip alone, because usually on the trips that I had, I was with family member, maybe friends. So it was a very new experience, and it helped me to grow up.
I have a few questions. But first, before even questioning anything, let me go blind for you is an Afghan phrase, which in Dari, it's kortushaum, which is an endearing term for saying with multiple W's. When a sentence and a statement is all worthy, we just say, let me go blind for you. Anyways, was there any particular reason that you went to that coffee besides being bored in the house?
No.
You dog. Dog with DAWG.
To be honest, it wasn't a very big deal, but there was this girl that used to work there, and I thought she was cute, and I would go there.
Yeah, you did.
And it's funny, like I went there for 2-3 months every day of my coffee, but I never said anything to her.
For listeners, I want to establish that we are not politicians, we are not historians, we are not serious people. We don't take ourselves serious. We want to keep it light-hearted. So expect more about dating in Afghanistan. Spoiler alert for another episode. So obviously Karachi was a good place for you. You loved it.
Yeah.
But how long did it take from being totally hopeless?
Oh, I'm still hopeless.
No, but right now you got a job. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You should start paying me for showing to this podcast and
Yeah.
and buying all of my music that you used to listen for free.
That I would do.
No, obviously I'm kidding. Because for me, from the moment that I felt hopeless was like even 1 year before Taliban came, Mahdi Ansel told me that, hey, next year Americans are gonna leave. Have you any plans? I was like, holy shit, this is news to me, and we started looking for an apartment in Turkey, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember that. Like before Taliban taking over, me and Ali, we were planning to go to Turkey, stay there, live there, work there. But Ali got deported and I couldn't get my passport in time.
Thank you for reminding me of that deportation.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Back to Pakistan. I went to Karachi, got my passport extended at the Afghanistan Consultancy Agency, something like that. And I went back to Quetta and stayed there for a couple more months. It was fun. I started going to gym at that time. I had my soccer games. And during Ramadan, there was like another cafe opened up, which was owned by a couple people from Kabul that came to Quetta. And I made like a lot of friends from school, Marifat school there.
Yeah, you did. I'm trying to intensify.
You're teasing me.
And you're naughty. Okay.
During Ramadan, we would stay there at the coffee shop until 2 a.m. and just like stay there, talk, smoke. We were so hopeless. And then this whole Canadian immigration thing came up, and I had
clicked.
I had to move to Islamabad to join the other people that we were in the same group. So I said bye to my mom. To this day, I regret that I didn't say a proper goodbye, because in my head I was thinking that, I'm going to Islamabad and then I will come back to say goodbye if I get my visa. But then when I went there, they were like, you're not allowed to go anywhere. In Islamabad, we were in a district called D17, which was far outside the Islamabad city, but it was a part of Islamabad capital territory, and it was a good place.
I was in the downtown.
You was in the downtown. Islamabad doesn't have a downtown.
I mean, I was in the nicest place in
Yeah, sure, whatever. You
Islamabad, but only for 11 days. If you guys are interested into seeing videos from that time, the 11 days that I was in Islamabad, me and Ehsan hanged out a lot, and we visited a lot of places, and I documented a lot of it, so you could watch it on my YouTube channel. It's called Ali ATH Plus. Yeah, shameless plug.
shameless. As I said in the first episode, it's not about having the best podcast. It's just like being able to share our experience with people. If there are like even 2-3 people that are listening to this and they get to know the lives of like our lives better and like the people that live in Afghanistan, I think that's a win for me.
So smas. Also, listeners and viewers should understand something, that I am 27 years old, and I was expecting for you to say, damn, just like Kevin Hart said, damn.
Damn.
Ehsan is 21, I believe.
I turned
22. Damn. Yeah, so obviously different ages and different reaction to certain things. For me, sometimes I laugh a lot. I believe it's some type of mechanism. Yeah, please don't think that I'm senseless or
emotionless.
Is that the word? Yeah, which I am, but you should not think of that.
You shouldn't think that.
I remember something back from Afghanistan, because obviously it was not just about surviving, but it was more than that, at least for me. I don't know. Crazy thing that when I was in Afghanistan, whenever I saw Facebook or Instagram, my friends would just get a photo from the airplane. They say, okay, goodbye, I'm gone. And I used to hate that.
Same here.
I don't know why I hate that. For the first 4 months or 5 months that I was in Germany, I didn't even post anything and didn't even mention that I was in Germany, because I didn't want to make others feel like that, you know? And there was 2 crazy things happening in Afghanistan, which is very worthy. I don't know, very pity. When 2 friends saw each other, or 2 people who knew each other, when they see each other, they were like, oh, you're still here. Haven't you gone with airplanes to USA or somewhere? Another thing that they would always talk about is, hey, have you got your passport?
Yeah, I know that. Every once in a while, people would call me or text me, are you still here? Where are you? Like,
the crazy thing is that I didn't even want to leave Afghanistan. We got so used to it. All of our plans were basically in Afghanistan. You remember how many times did I told you that I want to have a coffee shop for myself? We even had a name for it called Haj Ali, because everyone in Afghanistan used to call me Haj Ali, right? And we used to talk about like we're going to make a 4 stories building, and one of them should be twin studios. One of them should be for our artists to reside there, and one of them, the top level, should be for our entertaining room, like the snooker board. I don't know what's yeah, and having multiple game stations and stuff like that. All of those were our dreams, you know, and we had to say goodbye to them. And now we are here. If we don't know the language, our certifications from or diplomas are not valid here. So basically, they want me to work in Amazon or do Uber, which I'm down to do. It's not that like I'm not willing to work, you know. But it's like sometimes something happens that I get reminded that, man, you're way too talented to do this stuff, you know. For listeners, maybe you listen it 1 week before the first episode, but for us, it's probably 3 months gone. 2 months or 3 months?
2 months, I guess.
Okay, after maybe 50 days, again did the second episode, because the place that I'm living and Ehsan lives, it's different time zones, 1. Second, we have so many responsibilities here. I don't know about you, but I'm forced to do bullshit classes and stuff like that through the day, and having limited time to do stuff. Believe it's also for you. It's also like that for you.
Well, I think it's mostly time difference, because when I'm free, you're asleep, which is nighttime.
Yeah.
And when you're free, I'm asleep or I'm at work. So it's like hard to manage to find it.
Yeah. As I said, and plus the way that you need to live here, it deprives you or dries you out of your creativity. When you reach to the weekend, it's like, I just want to relax.
Yeah.
Let me, maybe I could go on a date. Maybe I could hang out with my friends. Maybe I should just watch a movie.
I know. They try to force us to live like fucking rats and robots, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. A few days ago, I talked to one of my old bosses. You know him, Afghan Beats. And I saw him doing big moves, and I was like, oh my God. That reminded me of what I was trying to do. I decided for myself that I should take this a bit more serious. And if I take it more serious, I know Ehsan will take it serious, right? Don't let me down, brother.
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, we have stories for ages, and I feel like even if we run out of stories, we have a lot of good friends that we could invite to our show and little show, and we could talk to them and ask them for their stories, and let's see where it goes,
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said, I hope you guys do not expect us to be more like
Professionals and stuff.
politically correct from Afghan's perspective. We are gonna be politically correct in American sense, but we're gonna say
All bunch of shits and
yeah. I hope nobody gets offended. We are getting to the point that the English is getting hard for us to continue. I think in here, bottleneck is English, I have stories for ages and I could talk for ages, but after an hour, it's like, oh my God.
I'm tired of speaking English.
Yeah, I cannot translate them fast enough in my head, Maybe if you will get used to it,
Well, for me, it's much easier now because I've at the place that I work, I have to like talk to my colleagues in English all day.
Plus, you have your brother. This was my first Ramadan Eid
Alone.
spending with no one.
Ours was nice.
Aw.
We had some.
Let me go blind for you. Let's make it a big deal.
Yeah, we had a few iftari gatherings and like stuff. Had some bolani, ay khanom. So
Okay, so it was fun for you.
it was. I didn't fast, but I was invited
yeah.
to some good iftaris. So iftari is
Yeah.
the meal that they break their fast with.
Breakfast.
Dinner
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say for this episode?
For this episode, I just want to finish my time in Pakistan. So I went to
Okay.
Islamabad and we lived in a hostel for 4 months, I guess. It was like days of uncertainty, I guess. That's what you call it. Because no one was sure that they will get their visa. But eventually we all did. And our last people just arrived a week ago, I guess. It had its ups and downs and now we are here. I am settling in a way, because this past 6 months, it was all confusion, stress, not knowing what to do, where to go.
For those people who don't know you, that's your normal Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the stories. I believe we left a lot of stories from that era, but when we talk in next episodes, I feel like they would come up, because it's not easy to just summarize a whole year in just under an hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to us. I need to go.
Yeah, he needs to go, and yeah, it was fun filming this.
Yeah.
See you next episode.
Bye.